I flipped this double wide and made over $100,000. And no, this wasn't some fancy house in LA or a brand new building in the suburbs. This was a worn down mobile home in a small town, and it started out looking like this to this. Most people would have walked away the second they stepped inside. The roof was leaking and the inside looked like it hadn't even been touched in years. But I knew if we could clean it up and make it livable again, there was real money to be made here. So we decided to move forward on it. And in the end, after 6 months of renovation, unexpected setbacks, and lessons that I've learned through this process, we turned a forgotten double wide into a clean modern home and walked away with a 6-figure profit. And guess what? I recorded everything for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what the property looked like before and after, the marketing stage of the flip, where I'll show you what I did to get this property under contract in less than a month, and finally go over the closing statement with you guys to verify the numbers. So if you're thinking about what this process looked like for me and what you can learn from this for your own projects, continue watching. So before I show you guys the before and after transformation, I wanted to go over and explain how I found this deal in the first place. So I was doing driving for dollars, which, in case you guys don't know, is basically picking an area in your town and just driving around looking for abandoned houses. So in this case, the property had tall grass. The roof to the garage was caved in. So just with that gave me enough reason to reach out to the homeowner because nobody lived there over time, right? So I used truepeoplesearch.com, which is basically an online phone book, and found the phone number. I called the owner and I asked them if they were interested in selling. They said yes, and then we met at the property. And so at the property, we ended up speaking, walking through the property, and I was trying to figure out why the seller was trying to sell in the first place. And after asking the right questions, I found out that there was a tax auction scheduled for this property, meaning that there was taxes owed to the city, and if these taxes weren't paid, the city would have just taken the property. So that's how I found the deal. Let's talk about the property itself. So this was a double wide, 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,500 square foot ish, and it was a 32 by 80. So it was a pretty spacious and a big double wide. And it came in with 4 acres, right? There was a pond within the 4 acres. I'm not sure that was a good thing or a bad thing at the time. I want to share something with you guys. I was 100% confident in buying this property whenever I was walking through it because of the location. This property was out in the back through the dirt roads. Like, it was really out in the country. You had to leave the main road, go to the dirt roads for like 10 or 15 minutes to get to the back of the neighborhood to get access to this property. I wasn't worried about buying the property. I wasn't worried about fixing it up. My main concern was me getting this thing sold fast in order to pay back my private money lender, because essentially they were the ones that were going to finance the whole deal. So you can see the first thing that you can tell what's new to this property is the porch here. We've actually got it built. The other one, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember from the other one. It was old and it was about to fall down. Good upgrade. It brings a lot of value to the home here. So do you remember how this looked like in the past? There was trash here, a pile of stuff here. Here, it was bookshelves, and a bed in here. It was clothes, trash, DVDs, movies in here. Now we had a new flooring. We painted the room and made it look really nice. And even this one here, this one was pretty bad. Again, same thing. There was trash, personal items everywhere. You couldn't even walk. You couldn't even touch the floor. Remember the bathroom? A lot of people love having ceramic in the bathroom, so that's what we definitely did. You can see we added a new toilet too. Yeah, we cleaned everything up. I mean, I don't know if you remember how it was last time. It was just really awful, man. If we added the appliances here, we got a dishwasher. We added new ceramic here. Makes it look nicer, right? And we added, I don't know if you can tell, we added ceiling fans. Alright, so this is the laundry here. We also added ceramic here. Make it look nice. We also, you can't see it, but we did add a new water heater here. It's an electronic one. But yeah, I mean, you can tell, we painted the room, we added the flooring in here. It looks really nice now. And then here, same thing. I don't know if you remember how the room was, but it was really messy. And this bathroom here, we added a new mirror, new toilet. We also added ceramic in this bathroom. So a question you might be asking yourself, why did I keep the original cabinets, the wooden moldings, and the wooden panel? Why? Because of 2 reasons. Number one reason is because of the comparables didn't tell me to. What do I mean by that? So, as a fix and flipper, you do not want to outdo your comparables unless you need to. So, why would I add new cabinets if the comparables that sold around me in less than 6 months didn't have new cabinets? Why would I do that? My last flip was in the city, and we had competition out there. We had to make ours stand out. We had to make our project stand out from the others. And so that's what we actually did. We put new sheetrock, new AC, new almost everything in order to stand out and for it to get sold quickly, right? Because that's what the comparables were asking from us. But in this property in particular, there really isn't much competition, and there really isn't much mobile homes that sold out here in less than 6 months that had like new material. So I just think it makes sense to keep some of the things in here unless it wasn't functioning, right? Then that's a different story. I'm gonna keep saying this a lot, but I really am in a huge disadvantage because of the location. We are far from the main road, but even farther from the city, and in order to keep my renovation costs down, I had to do this in order to have that much wiggle room when it comes to negotiating, because I can almost bet on it that this mobile home is going to sell because of the low price. I'll show you guys what my thoughts were. Again, I'm not gonna go in depth because this isn't a comping video. As you can see, this trailer, which is like five minutes from where we're at, sold for $160,000. Again, it was a 3-bed and a 2-bath, and it's a smaller one than this mobile home. Here with 4 acres. The one that sold for $160,000 in February of this year. You can see, I looked at the price history here. You could tell that in October of 2024, they listed the price at $185,000, and then it went down, listing removed, listed for sale, listing removed, and it sold for $160 in the end. So I'm actually trying to at least follow that path. So my listing price I decided on $188,000 because again, it is a bigger mobile home than this one here. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath. Has 2 living rooms and 1 guest room and 4 acres with its own pond, right? So I know that it is probably a little bit high, but again, I was expecting people to negotiate. But yeah, if I'm able to make over 100K, that would be my first triple digit flip, and I'll be proud of that, Or the next thing that you're gonna see is whenever we actually do sell it. I'm looking forward to know what price it sells for. I'm actually pretty curious, because again, this is a huge risk. So we are going to follow up next time whenever we close. Again, I'm predicting probably around $160,000 is what it's going to sell for. Hopefully I'm right. Okay, we'll stay tuned. So right here, I'm about to list the property on the MLS. Right now, this is what it looks like before. But in a few seconds, once I refresh the page, you're going to see that the mobile home will be for sale. One of the cool things about being not only... for those who don't know, right, I'm not only a real estate investor, but I'm also a licensed real estate agent here in Georgia. One of the big perks of being a licensed investor is that I can list my own properties and save on paying commissions to another agent, which means, I get to keep those funds and put them right back into my investments. Here is a 23-day on market update, and it is May 1st. Kind of want to tell you guys what's been the feedback so far since we've listed it on the market. So far, we've had no offers, no written offers. We've had one verbal offer of $130,000, which was a definitely no. I feel like I'm still pretty confident that we're able to get more, and honestly, at $130,000, it's just way below market value. So it was a definitely no, and these people never came back again. So other than that, we haven't had any offers whatsoever, but we've had a lot of showings. I would say roughly around 10 showings in 23 days, which is pretty good in my opinion, especially due to its location. The reason why I'm really trying to get this property under contract in the next upcoming weeks, hopefully days, is because I have to pay off my private money lender next month, which is going to be June, and today we've hit May 1st. So if you didn't know, it takes usually, if someone uses a bank loan to purchase your property, it usually takes 30 days from the contract being signed to closing. And I really do want to have a contract if I have a contract signed soon, then we'll be able to disperse the funds, and my private money lender will be happy. And again, at the same time, I'm trying to meet my triple digit profit goal on this property. So we are really trying. I'm really gonna do this. I was a little bit hesitant at first, but I'm gonna have to lower this the property price from 188,000 to 178,000, which is gonna be 10K in price reduction, because once I do that. Once I do that, people will be alerted that there's been a price reduction, and people that already looked at the property and may reconsider making an offer. If push comes to shove, I'm willing to not meet my goal of a triple digit profit on this property just to pay my private money lender on time, because I value the relationships over profit. I really think that you earn more long-term wise if you maintain a really healthy relationship versus profit from a property. So yeah, that's my thought. We are going to do that today, and hopefully we can get something under contract. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, about to open it. Remember, our purchase price is at 178,000. No way. No way. So there's a lot going through my head right now at the moment. I'm not sure how much I could say about this contract, but they are serious in buying because of the earnest money they put down.
I don't even know where I get 8,000. She said make cripple for 175. She can't do the 181 though. She said please make sure to add 8,500 and sell a pay closing costs when making an offer. So she did tell me that 85. So I guess we would do 180, 15 to get 85.
After 6 months and a couple of days, we finally made it to closing date. It's June 30th, 2025, and in a couple of hours, I'm going to be sending the keys off to the next new owner of this property here that I'm standing on. It is the last time I'm going to be here. It's been a crazy transformation from start to finish. It's honestly amazing to me how we as investors can take a place that was once really run down and turn it into a beautiful home, ready for a new family. And now standing here on my last day before closing, I can really see all the hard work that went into this, and that, basically you can see that this place has been given a whole new life compared to how messy it was before. Okay, so this is a closing statement from the property. As you can see, it closed on the 30th of June, and our purchase price, or sales price in this case, is $181,500. So that's what it sold for. But again, that's not the profit, or that's not all the money that's going into my pocket at closing, right? We have the expenses, which we're about to cover. So we have 71,000 from the 181,500. I'm already giving up 71,688 and 49 cents at closing. Here, the 9,175 was the total of real estate commissions from the buyer side and my side. Which again, a reminder, I was a listing agent, so part of the 9,175, which again is the $3,630 of that goes into my pocket, right? And then I had to pay off my private money lender, and who I ended up paying back on time and gives their interest on the loan that they gave me. This is a seller credit of $8,500 that I agreed to do it in order to help the buyer get qualified for the loan. And this is an unexpected expense. This was a bill that the previous attorneys missed out on, from a bill from the previous seller, but we ended up paying that off. And then there's your taxes. So again, we started off at $181,500, and then after taking away the expenses and the closing cost, which was $71,688.50, we ended up giving me a check of $109,811.51. And again, I want to say I added the real estate commission of the $3,630 from right there to here, so we ended up being at 113. But then I'll be honest with you, we ended up going over budget on the renovations, so it was either $4,000 to $5,000, but I ended up rounding it to $6,000 just to be safe, so that way you won't say that I'm lying. And we ended up profiting this much right here. From the day that I bought the property to the day that I sold it, it turned out to be 182 days. So we do the math, you know, each day I made $590.34, and per week it was $4,132.37. So that's how my triple digit flip looked like for me. It was the first. I'm 24 years old, so I'm pretty excited. Just can't wait to see what. I'm not gonna spend it. I'm gonna plan on investing it and hopefully make videos about it. So please subscribe if you're interested in seeing what I spend my 100K on. And also, if you are also interested in seeing what the property looked like before, then you can always click the video right here. I just want to say this: if you feel stuck and don't know where to start in real estate, reach out to me. You know, I was in your shoes 2 to 3 years ago while I was working at the hospital and trying to look how to get my first deal in real estate. And for several months I had no luck, but then the opportunity came, took advantage of it. Now my eyes are open and I saw a bigger opportunity and the full potential that I have if I just put in the work. So yeah, just, you know, don't give up, keep your head up, your first deal will come.